Happy time zone, ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between. Welcome back to Zelda Speedruns. Great to have you with us this terrific Thursday. Today we got another exciting matchup in the Zelda 2 Randomizer Standards Tournament 2022 with the 0 and 3 matchup between Nightshifter and Warlock2019. This is going to be an exciting matchup, so without further ado, I'm going to shut up and leave it in the capable hands of Homewrecker on tracking and our commentary team today, Mariah and Royal with Cheese.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's matchup between Nightshifter and Warlock. This one is, they're all going to be exciting, so this one's just going to be as exciting as the rest of them. Royale, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing really well, Mariah. Yeah, this is an 0-3 matchup, so these two runners not looking at brackets, but, this could affect seeding and, of course, perhaps the Nibiru Invitational, should they choose to join.
That's very true. Very true. We've got the bonus tournament after this for those that don't end up making brackets. And so there's bracket Z2R coming up after this Swiss rounds, these Swiss rounds in this beginning of the tournament. And then there's the bonus Nibiru Invitational, as you just said. So nonstop Z2R. It's not technically ending for anyone just yet.
That's right. It's, the most wonderful time of the year. Tournament season, and it's going to continue for a little bit longer. Looks like we're about to be off soon here. Let's see what kind of vanilla we get tonight. I think Nightshifter was not in agreement with the lack of the taking out of vanilla flags. So
okay. Well, we have a dry canyon.
Yeah.
Looks like,
Friendly western biome, free ferry immediately in Saria.
Could be jetty, could be troll. It's still way too early to tell. But it's always nice to find a quick ferry right off the bat.
Absolutely. Warlock going all the way into town to get the hint, or to see if there was a hint. I think it's really interesting when the generate Bagoo's Woods flag is off in the game, as it is for these tourney flags, then the Bagoo bot will give you, has the potential to give you an actual hint instead of just telling you where Bagoo is.
Yeah, we all learned something this tournament. I definitely learned that. That's something I didn't know, and I just had no idea. I was always taught that the bot just teaches that this just tells you where Bagoo's at. So that's just always been my information. And for the longest time, we never really played with this particular flag turned off. So the bot would just say where Bagoo is at, and I didn't know any better.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think, okay, and life in Raru, just north of Saria there. Yeah, I think it's just we, haven't played with that flag off very often. Karak disappears with the heart, so that's good to know. And for P4 that you don't necessarily have to dig the item out of there unless you're feeling squishy and want some more health.
Yeah, I am not entirely sure if Knight stopped to check those hints or not. It seemed like he kind of just kept walking, but I could be wrong. I may have just missed that. He may have just talked to the woman outside, got the hint, and then once you get the hint, there's only one hint per town. So if you get that first hint, there's no reason to check the rest of the houses or anything like that. So I could have totally missed him catch that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, same. But Nightshifter is going to give us our first look at Trophy Cave, our first item cave so far tonight.
And a nice fat 500-point P bag right off the bat as well, as Warlock goes north as opposed to Nightshifter going south here.
Okay, instant divergence. That's fun. Let's see what we've got. And Warlock getting a 200-point P bag on this graveyard encounter.
Red die regarding the cross here in Trophy Cave.
Warlock taking a death on the graveyard encounter. And is gonna... Okay,
ooh,
no
wow! Dude, that was that one axe from the Dyra took almost his entire health bar for it at life 1.
Yeah, the same thing happened to Okay, medicine on the grass tile. The same thing happened to Nightshifter in Trophy Cave. He managed to pin that Dyra up against the wall and take him out.
Yeah, he got the 500-point P-Bag ahead of time, too, and that, I think he got a life level there.
He is up to life 3 already.
Yeah. We also see a raft tile there, so that might be our... oh, wait, where are we? We're in the southern... Yeah, we're in the southwestern. Okay, so we don't give too much southwest of start. Okay. But we do see a raft tile just kind of west-southwest of start, so we'll see if the raft is going to be useful today. Still pending. I didn't see what was in Mito.
We have Reflect in Mito, so...
Okay.
You know, kind of a shame that Warlock didn't take that southern route before coming in here.
Yeah, that's definitely a shame. Oh.
Hey. Any key is a nice find there in Magic Container Cave for Nightshifter.
Yeah, the west is looking jetty. We've got Fairy. Don't know if it's castable at Magic 2 or Magic 3 here for Night. Haven't seen a lot of menu opening. We have the Magic Key just sitting here in Magic Container Cave. We have Medicine open and ready and available on the grass tile, turning it in for Reflect. If Fairy's castable for Night, when he walks into Mito, which he's actually just missing it because it's just north of where he's going, he'll have Downstab as well. The west is totally open at this point. We'll just see if we're going to need any sort of boots, any sort of flute, raft or something to get to another continent somewhere, but maybe they just want to retire on the west, and they can do that at this point.
And if we do need the boots, Warlock just got a hint that they are in the east.
Nice.
We've got Thunder in Rudo, but the trophy and an overworld check in the west, so that's also available.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good, but at the same point in time, when you see something like this, it's a double-edged sword. This is not going to be a bunch of digging necessarily for you as the runner, but you're also up against another runner because it's a race, and so your opponent also has to not do that digging. So it's jetty for both players. You have to consider that you're both going to be right next to each other. There's no real hidden stuff at the moment.
Warlock taking a game over there in P-Bag Cave. And Knight picking up a magic container in Heart Container Cave.
Yeah, Warlock needs to head southwest from here, get his grass tile, get his medicine. He doesn't know that, but it is all just sitting right there. That's interesting. We saw the 500-point P-Bag drop off of an enemy on Nightshifter's side, but did it? We don't have the same levels on Warlock's side. So did we perhaps see?
We haven't seen a big P-Bag drop for Warlock yet. No.
Okay. Well, it came so early. I'm almost wondering if he saw it and then died when it hit the floor, and that was completely wasted at that point. Because that was off like the fourth enemy that Knight killed over there in Trophy Cave.
Okay, Warlock does find the medicine there on grass tile. He's got the any key.
Oh, there it is. Must have been just from large enemies then. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, this is what Warlock needed early on. It just so happened that Knight had this probably 5 minutes ago, and he had those increased levels.
Bouncy cats in the dark. Yeah. Oh, I'm raging.
The worst.
All right, and Knight doesn't know it yet, but that's his thunder.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see if we can cast Fairy. We've got 70.
Warlock could not on Magic 2.
Okay.
Let's see if he can on Magic 3 here.
Yeah, plus Knight has the extra container. He's okay, it's 60. So yeah, once Knight finds Mito, he'll have the medicine. He'll be able to get downstab as Warlock is getting now. He's going to find Rudo. He's going to go back to Rudo. He already knows. Or no, does he know? He hasn't seen Rudo. It was Warlock that showed us Rudo.
Yes, Warlock has seen Rudo.
Okay, so...
Yeah, Nightshifter doesn't know yet that he has Thunder already.
Yeah, he's super set. Not having to double dip any of these places. This is potential. And it's not a gigantic time lead, but it's really nice to not have to double dip any of these places.
Yeah, especially Mito, because it's 3 screens, so it's a
Yeah.
little bit longer. I feel like anytime I can not have to double or triple dip Mito or Darunia, like those are wins.
Exactly.
And Nukasudo.
So Knight is in the cave that Warlock, I believe, game overed in. So Knight having
Yes.
3 lives now, probably going to make it through here, especially having better levels as well.
Yeah, I imagine he will. Attack 3 and life 3.
And I think this is going to be it for overworld checks in the west then, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Nightshifter will have seen them all at this point, and I think Warlock is still missing that magic container, so he hasn't seen Heart Container Cave yet. He's still missing that magic container. And then, you know, he should make it through P-Bag Cave this time.
Yeah, Warlock did make it through Magic Container Cave after he went in, took a death, he walked out, went to the grass tile, and then saw his 5-point P-Bag. Then he went back in the Magic Container Cave? Okay.
Yes, he grabbed the any key out of Magic Container Cave.
Okay. I completely
And it
missed
looks
what
like
Knight
there's
saw.
another Magic Container, it looks like,
Okay.
just based
Oh,
on his
yes.
count.
You're on top of things, Royale. I'm over here. I came off of kind of a rushed playing with some new hardware. But yeah, we're on top of things. We got it. Royale's in charge.
It's very professional commentary, should say. Okay, Knight's got to be happy because he just found out that he has Thunder already.
Yeah, Knight is ecstatic. This is like birthday and Christmas day on the same day here. Just all of this stuff. You're just walking in. You're just like, I got this already. I have this. Give me my spells and I'm out.
Yeah, he's got to be really pleased with his routing here. And Warlock, recognizing that he was in Parappa Pass-Through, nopes out and does find Heart Container Cave just south of that.
So we've seen Great Palace just southeast of Start. What else have we seen? We're about to see, I guess, something right here on Night side. Okay.
Palace 4, okay. And we've seen all the towns, so we're just missing one palace still here on the west. And I believe we saw the raft tile, and I'm pretty sure we saw a bridge as well.
Okay, I missed the bridge, but yeah, we definitely saw the raft, and I wonder if we've got a raft sitting in one of our palaces, or could just be the bridge that takes us wherever we need to go next.
I think it's kind of fun when the game forces you to dip palaces after you clear the overworld before you can get off the west.
Yeah. It's nice to have just, I mean, the game can throw you in so many different directions with this randomizer. It's I'm struggling to say it's phenomenal because sometimes it's not phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Sometimes it's phenomenal in that it can be done. Sometimes it's painful.
Yes. From a design technical standpoint, it's incredible what this randomizer is capable of, and the way that it pieces together the continents and the connections and the logic. And it can be super troll, it can be super jetty, the whole spectrum of possibilities with this randomizer. And yeah, that's what we're talking about here. Really, your experience of the randomizer does depend on your experience, like gameplay experience, combat experience, how well versed you are in those areas. But yeah, some things can feel really good, some things can be just really interesting and still feel kind of bad. But you'd still enjoy. It's still a bit of enjoyment there when you have those types of seeds. They're like, man, this was like terrible seed, but man, that was so interesting how this was routed.
Yes, exactly. And Nightshifter is into P4. He has all of the required spells. Pretty much, like we haven't even seen the east yet, so we don't know what the biome is there. Boots might be required. But right now, Nightshifter is in really good shape here.
Also noticing that the life spell heals for at least 3 bars here, so that's at least a vanilla amount, but that maxed him out at health, so it could go higher than 3.
Yeah, Warlock's gonna... Okay, Bridge to Maze Island. Warlock's
Nice.
Gonna check that out, I think.
Yeah, Maze Island is going to be usually early on in the game, potentially a very good source of experience, because if you can find a bunch of Lizalfos, and if you're good at fighting the Lizalfos, as we're seeing here, we'll see that this orange one could be worth in this flag set up to 300 experience. So that would be really nice to just have just this early on. But if you're not good at fighting Lizalfos, a lot of people will just kind of skip them and jump over them and just kind of leave that behind, unfortunately.
Oops, Nightshifter cast life and didn't have enough left over to cast Reflect. And there was a fairy one floor below Karak. Oh, that's sad. And he's glove blocked on this lower level of P4 to the left as well.
So he just tried to get a jar out of that statue head. That statue head should have a jar. I don't know if he saw the room a moment ago. I don't know if he burned the statue at that point in time, or burned the jar at that point in time, but that should have had a jar for him. Because that, like you said, that's a glove block room down there. The one-sided statue at the bottom of the elevator. That way that's made that's always a 50-50 jar to the right.
And our NPC's not lying to us. Karak does indeed disappear with the heart.
And it's not even that far in. So once he gets this, he's already taken the death. And so he'll just grab the heart and he'll be able to, he's got his magic. He'll go right back up to Karak's room and take care of P4 and be placing his first gem. I mean, at this point, a little bit of a walk back. Sub 16 if Karak's nice to him. Sub 17 if he gets trolled a little bit. I'm sure Knight's feeling really good about that when that's done. I'm sorry, I asked this before. We saw GP, then we saw 4 on Knight's side, and then did we see the third palace here on the west?
I feel like we saw possibly 3 or 6, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I'm having seed bleed from yesterday, which, you know, it happens. I don't. Okay. Home doesn't think we saw the third one, and he's tracking, so I'm going to trust him.
Warlock with a nice bounce over the Scorpion there, into the Octorok, into another Octorok, into a 50p bag.
Yeah, that was nice. And okay, that could be interesting since we have seen the raft tile. Nightshifter having a really nice RNG Karak fight. You know, Karak not being a troll, not spawning on top of him. Nightshifter's up to life 5 already.
Yeah, man, magic 5, jeez. Fairy down to 44. It looks like he gets 2 casts of it now. Not that he's going to necessarily need it, but if he needs to get out of some troublesome rooms, if he gets himself surrounded by some bad enemies, it's easy to just fairy up and fairy out.
Nightshifter finding his way back to North Palace there.
Oh, here we go. It was so early on that we saw this. Yeah, you're right.
Okay, it was 3 or 6. Yay. Oh, Warlock taking an unfortunate game over before he could dig that second item out of Maze Island.
Yeah, and that's quite a hike back to the other side of this continent here, just to start off that dig again. I don't know if that was a linear dig or if he had some forks that he could pick from. Maybe the item's a little bit closer than he thought. Maybe that's a good thing that you die, you come back, you pick a different direction, you find the item right away, and then you can leave. Especially having the raft.
Yeah, when he's going to pick up Thunder in any case, he grabbed the trophy and then went and explored that Maze Island before he grabbed Thunder Spell. And Nightshifter's just like, I'm palacing, I'm going for it.
Yeah, this is the troll dead end room, but this one is a pass through this time.
Yes, Knight recognizing the 2 non-flying enemies there. Oh, it's P6. P6, we know that from those windows.
Yeah, everyone refers to them as the jail bar windows for Barba's P6 here. Unfortunately, no item, no dragon at the top and the bottom of that elevator. That is the troll room we were just talking about. That is the actual dead-end version of that room. I think Warlock's thinking about going back to Maze Island over here.
Yeah, I bet he wants to see what he left behind in there.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Potentially, the glove is still out there. You don't know what's on the east that you need. I might have done a quick check after taking the death. If I would have taken that game over, maybe a quick check to see what the east or where at least the raft led to, and if I could kind of look around and think, what do I need? If he sees the three-eyed rock very early on, it's helpful to know that, hey, I'm going to need the flute. Can't be leaving stuff behind in palaces, even if I find the glove at this point.
Yeah, I probably would have done the same thing. Not because I'm good at routing this game, just because I'm curious about, like, I'm nosy. So, but Warlock headed into Palace 1 here.
Yeah, always nice to see that early on. Quick little easy dig, usually, assuming there's no glove blocks. Has fairy, so if there's any fairy required rooms, then that's going to be variable by him. But glove blocks are stopping him and Knight at this point in time. As we also see on Knight's side, there was a glove block. Neither of them having the glove.
Yeah, and Knight is getting beat up by these MOAs in P4 or in P6. He has had a couple encounters with those friendly guys. They just want to fly at you and give you a hug. Oh, this room is in here twice. That's just rude.
I was just going to say, we saw this a moment ago. There was a Doom Knocker greeting us to begin with, and this one's got a skeleton in the ceiling. So, yeah, two different rooms here, two copies of that room. And especially right to left is the more difficult way to approach that room. Knight getting all the 500-point B bags here.
Yeah, he really has had a lot of generous XP drops. Yes, indeed. Thanks, game.
Waiting to see if Warlock's going to show us the item here. Here is the item. All right, great. Well,
all right.
I mean, at this point, you'll take it because you still don't. We were just talking about this a moment ago. You don't know what's on the east. If we have a three-eyed rock, we're going to definitely need that flute. It's not too hidden, but Knight seems to be digging these in such an order to where he will eventually be over to Maze Island, just not right now. If Warlock can seal the deal and finish off P1 here, then get himself into 4 and 3, and then be off to the east, he might have a chance to see, again, assuming we have a three-eyed rock, to get into that palace sooner than Knight.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that up elevator that Knight just took was up to our friendly dragon Barbra Streisand, but I think he is looking for the item here because he noped out. See if he's not going back up there.
Interesting. Well, this is an elevator room he's in. Could branch off to the item room. Oh, he came from here before. Okay.
Warlock saying no thank you to all the flying enemies and finding another glove block.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. The flute is nice to find for why we just discussed, but being stopped here, you've come all the way to Maze Island twice now, and you wanted to get this palace out of the way, find the items, get the palace out of the way, never have to come back, but it might not be that easy. It might be a glove block to Horsehead, and you might have to come all the way back here again.
And that's just too bad with P1 especially, because, it's nice to find on Maze Island, because usually it's short and sweet and easy, and you can just dig the Maze Island items, do the P1, and never ever come back to Maze Island unless there's a connector there that you need. But in this case, this is unfortunate.
Now, if it is an actual glove block, I mean, that's completely out of his control. The only way Knight would get around that right now is if the glove was in 6 and he found it so that when he was in P1, he could then just cruise through the entire thing. Assuming we are glove blocked. But if it is a hard glove block and the glove not being accessible on the west, then we'll be forced east. So what I'm getting at is that Warlock has the raft from Maze Island. The raft's going to take us somewhere. We don't have any other connections anywhere else. And so Knight will definitely need that raft off of Maze Island. He has to make the trip over here. He'll probably try to do one as well, unsuccessfully perhaps, unless we have Horsehead in the next room. Not yet.
Some of the P1s in these tournament flags, like I don't know if it's just because I've been watching more seeds lately than normal, but some of these P1s have been extremely troll for P1.
Yeah, it comes up like that every once in a while. Horsehead somehow finds a good architect to design a palace that really kind of it feels a little long or a little trolly.
I was just gonna say this feels infinite loop to me.
The funny thing is when we see copied rooms like this, you almost have to like go and check to make sure that it's not that room stacked on top of each other.
Okay, so Warlock is gonna go for the item here.
Yeah, I would trust that it is a loop though. Seeing that glove block, knowing that we are going to be blocked off from Horsehead, that's unfortunate. But again, out of his control. And unless Knight stumbles upon the glove in P6, Knight is going to run into the exact same thing and going to have to take the raft and then head wherever that takes him.
Magic container, you know, we'll always take that.
Yeah, that's our 7th container already before we even leave the West. I wonder if the game wants us to go into the basement of New Kasuto.
I think probably the game knew that Homewrecker was tracking tonight and was like, let's give the fans what they want and send the characters into the basements. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, actually.
Or from his previous seed where he didn't have any magic. It's just going to show Home, be like, look, we're going to give magic to everyone else. But when you play, good luck with 4 containers, brother.
Okay, here go. Let's see. We're just sailing across the land here in the Dry Canyon and the graveyard. Is this Death Mountain? Oh, wow.
All right, so we're looking for some caves in Death Mountain. Because that's all we have left. We've got Raft Tile that takes us to Death Mountain. We have the bridge that takes us to Maze Island.
We have 2 unknown location connector caves to the east, somewhere TM. That's excellent.
Oh,
and no hammer to check the rock.
It looks a little suspicious over here by the rock, though.
Yes, agreed.
There's a cave ahead. There's a cave going south. There's a cave going south. Warlock, come back. Islands at that.
Wait, that was Hammer Cave. Go back.
Yeah.
I trolled myself so hard once when I was first learning Dark Death Mountain. I played a seed where I walked into Hammer Cave in the dark like 3 or 4 times and just had no idea it was Hammer Cave and, you know, rage quit the seed. And then later I saw someone play Death Mountain in the dark and I was like, oh, I do know where Hammer Cave is. Okay.
So Knight is doing a lot of walking around in 6 here. I think, like you said, he's looking for the item, but he saw the glove block from the right-hand side. We saw him see the same room from the left-hand side. Don't know if it's a copy of that room or if it's the same room. If it's the same room, then we know that route is defunct and not required. So where the item is, I don't really know.
Well, and so that, you know, the room with it's got like, not like the different kind of levels, and there's usually a bunch of iron knuckles, and there's 2 blocks on each. It's fairy or glove block, basically. It's got the statue. It can kind of troll you into thinking it's an item room if you don't know better. I don't think he knew that he could fairy through there, because he has fairy, and he saw that room in P6, and he noped out of it. I mean, the item could still be glove blocked, but there was a definite path there that I think Nightshifter didn't know he could take, maybe? I'm not sure if he knew he could get through there with Fairy Spell.
Well, when Knight gets this down, he's likely going to get 2 levels off of this. He's so close to, he's just over 400 experience away from a level. Barba's very likely going to give 5 to 700, if not 1,000 experience, giving him the possibility to level off the kill. If he doesn't land into lava, that's always a concern.
Right.
So get the level off the kill and the gem here.
That was a very clean Barba fight from Nightshifter. He didn't even get touched. Yep, and he'll get a nice double level out of this fight.
Warlock has also come back to the west, it seems. He saw a heart in Hammer Cave. He up and 8 out of there, back to the west for him, into what we know as P6 over here. Yeah, we'll see if he sees that room and recognizes it as variable or not. There are a lot of rooms that newer runners have to kind of remember and keep in their mind for how they work. We have over 150 community rooms that were added to the game in 4.0, but that's not evenly split down the middle, but that is between both Great Palace and Standard Palaces. So there's a whole slew of rooms that are a lot different than what you're used to in the vanilla game. And sometimes I would say that's going to throw newer runners for a loop. You see some of these rooms once every 10 to 20 seeds, and if you don't see them that often, you don't play a bajillion seeds like some runners do, you don't see them that often, and you kind of forget how they need to be tackled. Because some rooms do have multiple ways to get through them.
Exactly. Okay, and chat telling me that Nightshifter did take a hit from our friendly neighborhood Barbra Streisand, but was able to refill with that very generous life spell today.
I think if commentary didn't see it, it didn't really happen.
That's a good point. I like that. We'll go with that. Yes, so with these flag sets that we have for this tournament, we're using what's called the reconstructed palace layout with community rooms on. So community rooms are basically any room that was designed. Some of them were designed in a room jam competition before version 4 was released. And some of the rooms are taken from a couple of ROM hacks, I think. I know that there are some Winter Solstice rooms in here for sure. But with the reconstructed palace flag, that is the flag that says, any community room, if the community room flag is on, but it mixes up all the palace rooms too. So you might see a vanilla P5, like the fake wall P5 room could be in P1. So we do have community rooms on, and we do have palace rooms completely shuffled between palaces. And the only exception to that is GP, which is kind of its own thing. Right, Nightshifter on Maze Island and found his 2 items. He's got his raft and his heart container, I think.
It was a magic container.
Magic container.
Yeah, he's got 7 now. Oh, so does Warlock. Yeah, everyone's got everything off the west and Maze Island at this point.
Warlock doing a nice job in these evil Moa rooms.
I was just about to say that. He did a good job there. Yeah, so as long as he'll find Barba soon enough. I'm pretty sure Barba's just coming up here in one of these rooms, not too far off from here, as you noted earlier. It's just that it's upside down T-junction room, elevator up, takes us right into Barba's room. But we'll see if he tries to dig the item out of that. If he does, if he doesn't, not sure if it's 100% accessible or not. P4 is not that long, so he's not that far behind. Even though he took a few game overs, took a few deaths, as we were talking about a moment ago, Knight's going to go into this P1, get the item, which is the flute, and unfortunately not be able to find Horsehead because it seems that Horsehead's going to be behind a glove block, and Knight's going to full clear this P1, the same as Warlock did. And as long as Warlock can, it's left here, I believe it's up at the next elevator room. That'll be his Barba, and then we'll see what happens. But if Warlock sticks around in P6 for too long, he's not going to be able to close that gap. However, he wants the glove. He knows he needs that glove. He's seen some glove blocks already, so it's probably likely he's going to stick around looking for the item. He's gonna go back and right. Okay. Oh Lord. Oh, he's got to reset the elevator. Well, you could have gotten up on the left-hand side, but it's sometimes just easier just to reset the elevator.
And let's see. Okay. Yep. Same plan. I know where this boss is. I'm not sure that Warlock is going to commit to the level of exploration that Nightshifter committed to here.
Yeah, it's possible he doesn't. Plus, at the same point in time, you know, it's hard. P6 is always going to be big.
Yeah.
and-
So yeah. Okay. This is not surprising to me. Warlock's gonna do this. But I wonder if he's gonna go back in after this. But I'm not surprised to see him, you know, recognizing that dead end room to the left to come back and do Barber right now.
Yeah. Plus, he knows he's got P4 right nearby. He's got Reflect. He can just go in there. Maybe he just doesn't want to dig around P6 being such a large palace. Who knows? Or sometimes with the palace so close to start, having the raft, he already knows Death Mountain is over there. And he's got to find a cave, unfortunately, somewhere in Death Mountain, and an island's Death Mountain with no boots. Oh, God.
Yeah, and we know boots are on the east, so even if they had that hammer, like, they're not digging boots out of Death Mountain today.
Yeah.
Oh, lava bath, Thad, you hate to see it. So easy to do in this Barba fight. You know, you mistime a jump just a little bit, and
Yeah, it can be tricky. When you first learn Barba, I mean, Barba's probably the first boss that I learned. It was just simply due to a story time now. While we see some fights and we see some P1 traversal. It was one of the Seed of the Weeks that one of the first ones I ever played, and P6 was right next to start, and Barba was the boss room at the bottom of the first elevator. And I had the option to just keep trying Barba at 111, and I did that for I don't know how long. And that's why I got good at Barba to begin with. I never really struggled too much with Barba, but it is interesting to see that when newer runners, when you see all the newer runners, they all have their own little ways to approach Barba. They're all a little different, but it is very cautious a lot of the time, where you see the more experienced runners, they're just going in, they just dig right into Barba, and they take Barba out very quickly. But it's very slow. It's like 1 or 2 hits sometimes on certain cycles, but it is what it is. It's just part of the learning process.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Warlocks run all keys plenty of times, but it's not the same when you are fighting Barba on attack 3 versus when you're fighting Barba on like attack 7 or 8.
That's a good point. I don't know what level was Knight when he came in here and fought Barba. At least I guess he would have been attack 5 because he got what?
Yeah.
Life. He got life 5.
He got
Magic 5.
life and magic, yeah. So
No, wait, no.
He was
attack 4.
4.
Yeah, he was attack 4 because 1500 was what he got, and he got the attack level off of that. Then he took magic 6, I think is what it was.
Oh, Warlock came really close to getting bought by those fireballs. Definitely gave Barba a little hug, but yeah, attack 4 definitely noticeably better, at least on this Barba fight, than attack 3, which is not surprising. Attack 3 is usually garbage. Okay, Knight's about to get the good news here. That this is not the East, this is in fact Death Mountain, and, you know, get wrecked gamers, you have to find 2 connector caves, or at least 1, if you ever want to make it to the East.
Yeah, well, what would be, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to use the word interesting. I guess I am from the commentator perspective, but it would be interesting if both the caves were in Death Mountain and we had a segmented East, and that both of those caves were required.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
All right, so Night showing me my cave choice was actually wrong there next to Spec Rock. We did have a cave connected to it south of there. A few more hits for Warlock here. Doing good, or is it going to be Commentary Curse?
You got this, Warlock.
Yeah, see, it's Newer runners, again, it's nothing against newer runners. This is exactly how I was playing as well when it first all began. But it's today, Barba, I see Barba as one of the easiest bosses. Give me a dragon to fight at any attack level. Gonna take it down super simple. Guma, still tricky. Helmet Head at lower levels still can be a pain. There's certain bosses that will still get you at lower levels, but once you know Barba's timing and once you're confident with getting a few stabs in every cycle, Barba becomes a very easy boss because she's stationary and all you got to do is just dodge the fire. And the fire is on the same timing every single time.
True. I mean, I still fight Barba like that, and I've been playing this randomizer for like 2 years, so.
It's fine. It's fine. Everyone should just play however they feel comfortable. That's all that it is. I'm not here to make anyone feel like they're doing it wrong.
Hey, also, I play this game for fun and because I like it. I'm not trying to like win tournaments or be a speedrunner or anything like that.
Not yet, but I expect to see you enlist in the 2023 Max Rando tournament.
Max Rando will never happen. I would possibly join next year's standard if I felt like I could be competitive.
All right. STL card fan in chat. Horsehead struggled with hitting Horsehead today. Yeah, Horsehead's hitbox is weird.
You gotta hit his ears. It's a very strange hitbox.
I don't mind it. It's nice to get in there, but it is weird to learn. I
feel like this is something with NES games in general. They're all very well-coded video games, and the hitboxes are never ever wonky, kind of a thing. Sarcasm.
What gets weird is when you flip the bosses. You would think that their hitboxes flip nicely with them, but sometimes it really feels like they don't.
No, Horsehead from I have watched some of the vanilla runners do Horsehead %, and I remember watching Chroma practice fighting him from either side, and the hitbox from the other side is even wonkier.
Yeah. It's almost like it's further behind him than it's harder to reach. And I feel like Helmet Head is the same way.
Desi wants to know if we can give Barba Hyper Beam instead of Fireballs. I think as a commentator and tracker, that would be fun to watch, but if TAH ever put it in the seat of the week, I would probably cry. I don't know if you're a Pokemon fan, Mirai, but Hyper Beam is a Pokemon thing.
I know precisely zero about Pokemon. Oh, Sparkles in chat. Sorry, I missed that. Question from chat for me. When did I start Z2R? I started playing back in April of 2021. That's when I actually started playing and doing the Seeds of the Week, as terrible as they are. Somewhere around there, you can go back and you can find, if you look for the word embarrassing from me, you'll find in the Z2R Discord, you'll find me talking about the first seed that I ever put up was, I don't know, over 3 hours or something like that. I was like, how embarrassing. And I linked the spreadsheet to show it. So yeah, that's back then, but I was watching for a good 6 months or so before that. So I had an idea kind of like how the game was played and whatnot, but I guess I watched a lot more 3.0 and then 4.0 came out January 2021. So really, I didn't start with 3.0 at all. I don't even know anything much about 3.0 other than just having watched it, the old tournaments and whatnot. But 4.0 is what I started with, and that's where we're at. A lot of seeds later.
Yeah, Mirai is super committed. Okay, Warlock doing the thing where, you think you jump, but really you're just walking into lava. I have done this several times, so I know how he feels about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Warlock saw the elevator where Karok is at the top of it, but he went down and right, saw the item, and kept going right from there. And hopefully this time he goes up and just sees Karok, and then he's done with P4. Because Knight's having a hell of a time over here in Death Mountain, for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, Knight knows that this is his probably best bet for finding the East, is this Death Mountain.
Here we go. Warlock's going to find Karok.
Yay!
See, I like an islands biome. You and I may have talked about this just recently, or I was talking with someone about this recently, I think, is that islands biomes are great to have to deal with at least one time over so that they feel like you had to traverse it. Then you can get rewarded with the boots, and then you can just bypass all the nonsense.
Yes, it was us that was talking about that.
Okay. Yeah, and I fully agree with that. I mean, this is a little annoying to deal with, especially in a Death Mountain, but at the same point in time, I mean, it's part of like the game. You know, not every Death Mountain can be just like an open, easy canyon, open dry canyon or something like that, right? Or a vanilla lake, which is super easy to navigate as well. You got to get used to navigating all of the different types of biomes in all of the different continents, and Death Mountain feels a lot different. Again, as annoying as this can be, it sometimes kind of helps to start drawing maps as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. VT Slacker in chat found my first submission to the seed of the week. 4 hours and 10 minutes.
If that's the first seed you ever ran, I mean, even if it, like your first few seeds, that's a decent time, really. Like I think my first, I love it. I love that when you come out of a Islands Death Mountain connector into a just like boots blocked single island in the middle of nowhere. That's lovely.
Yeah, but that's where everyone starts. You know, that everyone starts hours upon hours for a seed. It was. I don't have any recordings from back then, so I can't really compare anything.
Oh,
but...
replay on stream tomorrow. That's a good idea. Have you replay the first seed of the week that you ever submitted, and then see how your times match up.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I should have the seed saved I saved every seed that I've generated as far as I know.
Warlock finally finding Trophy Cave and picking up that cross that we saw Nightshifter grab very early on in this seed.
Yeah. Probably both of them using the same tracker. We could see their own trackers on their restreams here. You can't see that on the ZSR restream, but that tracker that they're using does have the caves, the overworld spots to visit and whatnot on their tracker. So that was one thing that was missing on Warlock's.
Okay. Man, this Death Mountain is something. I'm surprised that we haven't seen one connector somewhere yet.
If Warlock takes this cave heading west, we may have a connector over there. I think he needs to just go south after he exits this and just hit the one. There's another cave facing east if he just heads south after he exits this particular cave. I think that might be what we need. It might just be sitting right there. Again, I'm 0 for 1 though on cave guessing, so this might be an 0 for 2. South, south, south. Right there. It's on the edge of the screen. Keep coming down, Warlock. Check this one, right there, heading east. You're welcome.
Oh, there you go. Good call, Mirai.
And we have a hidden Kasuda right off the bat, so we're not necessarily going to need the spell from there, but we will maybe need the items.
Yeah, if Glove is in our very benevolent granny's basement or in the spell tower, we will definitely need that hammer. You want to wait and see if Homewrecker goes nuts on Granny in chat.
Real fast, I'm going to address VT Slackers saying that the seeds and the flags that are still in Discord. Unfortunately, that was a 403 version of the randomizer. We're on 404 now. We would get a different seed if we generated with that same information. When we got the update, it did change the overworld generation with the hashes. The hashes stay the same, I believe, but the overworld generation, it does change. We had some issues with that in the middle of last year's standard tournament when we got the update from 403 to 404, the middle of it. Some people were still running 403. Hashes on the file select screen matched, but the overworlds were wildly different. I apologize. What did we just see here in Naburu? You probably
Warlock grabbed fire, and I think it is life.
Okay.
He
Interestingly
casts
enough,
it
yeah.
right away.
I was gonna say sometimes we don't see like a reverse tether for some spells, and I don't
Or
know.
maybe not. He might have been full already, because he just cast it again. It's definitely not shield, jump, or fairy, or thunder. I think Nightshifter is on the right path now in Death Mountain.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh wow.
Womp womp.
Oh no, I wonder what else do we have access to? If we have nothing else accessible up here, then we'll need that other cave to our potentially
my
segmented
goodness.
east. I don't know. I don't think Warlock showed us enough of what's on the top side here.
I don't think so either, and I think there's another cave that he can take. Assuming it's a connector cave.
Yeah, if anything, it could be even a palace access to the hammer, to the new Kasuto.
Okay, that's where he came in.
Oh.
Okay, so there's all this over here that he hasn't.
Yeah, false alarm. We got some more
Nightshifters.
continent to explore.
So close yet so far.
And this is interesting now because
Okay, here he goes. Here he goes. He's gonna find it. Yay!
so now they're neck and neck kind of in terms of time, other than just levels. I think Knight probably has still more levels. 5, 6, 6, I think he's still at. Yeah, just barely ahead of Warlock, but otherwise, Warlock dipping into this 3-eyed rock palace and technically ahead of Knight here.
Yeah, Warlock. This is P3.
Gambled it on the immediate left.
P3-eyed rock. Home, please. Home wrecker, please.
Oh, check Warlock! I checked that elevator. That could be Rebo just sitting right there, waiting to be dismounted. No, this is okay. Warlock recognizes that as the dead end.
Yeah, he knows.
Knight also with the left. Do they know something in P3 that I don't know? And it is Rebo.
Wow. Wow. Knight with the elevator meta right off the bat. But is like, no, maybe this item's right over here.
That's amazing. It would have been something for Warlock to get that advantage. Just take that left gamble, and Knight. That was an up and 8 from. Really quick.
I think he's gonna go to the right and look for the item. He really wants that glove.
Well, I wonder what the thought process is. Is just overall, just like you could just kill the boss. Like there's no bonus for finding the item before killing the boss. The boss.
Yeah,
right there.
I don't know.
And
I don't know.
well
I mean,
equipped.
if I see a boss in a palace, I kill it if I can.
That's how you got to roll. And a quick item. Wow.
Yeah, this is a very quick P3. So jump in Jarunia. All for the candle. It's a nice quality of life item. Probably not necessary, really, for either one of these runners.
I think Warlock got that hint in Naburu that Rebadak rode with the candle, and that's why he didn't dig the item out of there. However, sometimes I would do the same thing, but Knight didn't know that. And now Knight's going to have the candle, and that might actually make these caves, especially any lava encounters or anything like that, a whole lot easier with having the cross and the candle. Those are going to be easy peasy for the most part. But then again, that's not enough to make me go dig out the candle from a place where I know it's at.
Yes, and Warlock did pick up Upstab here in Jarunia. And he got the hint, go east to find the child. We'll see if he goes back for jump. It is useful in GP. But, you know, we might get an Animus United seed here where there's no child rescue. We'll have to wait and see.
So, if my calculations are correct, this is probably going to be the boots right here in Sunken, because I think we're out of places to explore, and I think we're going to need the boots from here on forward. I could be wrong.
I think you... Well, okay. I was
wrong.
just about to agree with you. But there must be something we can still explore.
Yeah, I thought there was just water just north of this cave, but I guess not. Or maybe it is really the other connector buried in Death Mountain. I'd hate to think that with these runners. This is probably not the way they want to play this seed, but it's possible.
That would be so gross.
Because we know it's not in P3 right there. We can't get into New Kasuto without the hammer. We got Spec Rock we can't get into without the hammer. One-sided volcano over here.
Oh my gosh, Mirai. Mirai, please.
Wow. So Warlock has not had the opportunity to continue to dig through Death Mountain like Knight has, so I'm a little concerned here. Like, we dipped out of P6. Was the item we needed in P6 the whole time? Because neither one of our runners was able to pull the item out of there.
I mean, we know the boots are in the east, so unless it's the hammer in P6 for the boots in New Kasuto. Oh, that would be gross too. So both of our options are disgusting. And I think Warlock is figuring out, yeah, he's I think figured out that there's nowhere to go and he's not happy about it.
Yeah, he's going to check Death Mountain, it seems, though, as Knight's already done this. He had that time advantage for not having to check deeper through Death Mountain, but it seems like the answer might still lie here. I'm not sure. Knight did so much checking, I'm going to assume that he cleared out as much as he could, as far as he could reach through these caves to the outskirts of the surrounding island area, and that nothing's there. I don't know, though. Warlocks, may show us something that Knight didn't see.
Homewrecker, who rolled this? I believe Psychonaut rolled this. Usually the restreamer rolls the seed. Yeah, Animus Hammer Cave was really close to the entrance from the west, and it was a heart container. No, we can't do Spec Rock and DM because we don't have the hammer.
Yeah, if these runners had cleared out the hammer, the item out of P6, then I'd be a little bit more worried about the completability, if you will, of the seed. Sometimes that happens. And sometimes it's a New Kasuto issue.
Exactly. Yeah, I wonder what we're gonna, if we're gonna see. I wonder how much Warlock is gonna commit to this Death Mountain exploration versus just going back into P6.
Yeah, he dipped out of 6 so early without really even looking for anything other than finding Barba and getting out of there. So he has a reason to kind of go back in there. I wonder if Knight is convinced that he can't get the item out of there. I mean, we're not even 100% sure. Like you said, there was the weird fairy glove block room that I do remember seeing. I just don't remember where I saw it. I mean, other than in P6 and whether we saw both sides of it or not. I don't think we did. I think we just saw the right-hand side of the room.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing, because that room is pretty memorable.
Yeah.
From the left with all those blocks to break. And I definitely don't remember seeing it.
Okay, so Knight back to the west. I think he's going to go back into P6 because, I mean, as we just discussed, this is... Oh, or not. Oh. Well, we think it's the only play. I don't know if he full cleared P1. I guess it doesn't matter. He got the item out of P1, so that's not where our problem lies.
No, and I think we are pretty sure that Horsehead is glove blocked in P1.
Yeah.
Animus, so P6 is potentially glove blocked, but Knight explored P6 very thoroughly, but there was a room that he noped out of, and I'm not sure if it's because he just didn't realize that he could use Fairy in there to get through. Like, I think he thought he needed glove. It's not a completely glove blocked room. It's glove or Fairy, but I'm wondering if Nightshifter didn't know that you can also get through that room with Fairy. And other than that, like, what's behind that room, I'm not sure. You know, we didn't see behind there, so we're not sure how much more P6 is left, really.
Yeah. Although, there really can't be too much left, because Knight did clear so much of it out. So, maybe we did curse it a little bit at the beginning, talking about how we had everything on the west available to us, pretty much well, in air quotes, like a free thunder, a free fairy. I guess fairy was free, but a free reflect, free thunder, with the medicine and the trophy being on the west as well. Magic key sitting in Magic Container Cave. Everything was just there, ready for the taking, ready to set these runners up to get going. And then all of a sudden this. So, yeah. But I guess we're back at P6 for Knights. So that's good.
Warlock having no luck finding any other connectors. Happy 1 hour, indeed.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize it had been an hour already. Wow. Because we were cruising, and then all of a sudden we weren't.
Yeah, I mean, based on the information that we had early, this looked like a potential jet seed. This is a very good time to shout out our runners here. Everyone should go follow Nightshifter and Warlock2019. They are doing a great job with a somewhat troll connector tonight. And also follow Mirai, because he streams.
Royale also about to get on the streaming bandwagon. Been looking at some solutions to improve her game across multiple console systems. So fully expect her to be streaming as well. And of course, our tracker, Homewrecker.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone here should follow Homewrecker. He is fantastic. He is a shining light in multiple rando communities. Home, I'm being serious. That's not even sarcasm. Everyone should follow him. He has a great community.
Okay, well, I did some research, and I'd say that this seed is good to go.
Okay, good. Good, we like beatable seeds.
Yeah, we do.
Nochi making a good point that one of Home's favorite Link to the Past randomizer items is in fact the mirror shield. And no, his chat does not ever let him forget it. That is true.
At this point,
says beatable seeds are overrated. Yeah, sometimes, but I think we've met our quota for this tournament.
I'm not even really part of this this Hera basement mirror shield thing, but it sounds like it's going to be on Home's tombstone, with as much as it gets talked about.
Animus is 2 for 2 and having unbeatable seeds in the past 2 years. Oh boy. That's just luck, Animus.
Wow, yeah, those are great statistics to have. Didn't realize that this P6 is this long though in this direction. So yeah, Nick reversing it.
It is It was definitely a P6, especially with 2 copies of that room that we just saw Nightshifter go through.
Yeah, so it is unfortunate that Warlock was in here and then did dip out. This is one of those things where it's just, I get it though. I might have made the same play, but maybe not with the glove at large and seeing glove blocks. I don't think I would have been leaving any palaces at that point. I would have been digging them as far as I could and definitely confirming that all items were glove blocked before leaving. And both of our runners not doing that in 6.
I really hope if he sees that fairy glove room again, like I hope he recognizes that, this is the way, possibly. Like this is like I can actually get through this room with what I have.
Yeah. But at this point I'm totally lost on where that even is, but Knight is coming back over this, so we'll see it eventually, I imagine. Yeah, Warlock needs to get out of this Death Mountain. I'm not sure if he has fully explored all of these areas just yet. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like our second cave is accessible without the boots. But
again, that's what I'm thinking. Is this other connector cave has got to be boots locked by now.
Yeah, this is a fully developed P6 here. There's a lot of rooms in here. For anyone who's not familiar with the randomizer, when it comes to the vanilla room count of the palaces, the randomizer can roll plus or minus 25% of the room count when using the reconstructed option, as Royale was talking about earlier. And so that would put, I think that puts P6 somewhere close to 30 rooms, something high 20s.
Yeah, this is a pretty giant P6, even for rando standards. Homewrecker making a really good point that we have a hammer block cave in the west. So that could definitely, I mean, the thing with a dry canyon is a lot of times you don't see the connector caves because you're in a dry canyon, so who takes connector caves?
Yeah.
I know that we saw the front of Jump Cave and the front of Parappa Pass-Through, and I think also the front of Fairy.
Yes.
And the back of Jump. But there's definitely a possibility that hammer-locked cave could be our other connector.
Yeah, unfortunately, Warlock. I think he's backtracking at this point, but these are caves we did just see him in a moment ago. It can be tough, though. It's like when you have to backtrack, you don't want to necessarily leave the area. Well, maybe you do, because the raft tile is right next to start. It is kind of an easy up and A away, especially if you. Well, I don't know. I don't really know how I would play it exactly. It's too easy to make certain calls from the commentary booth when you see both
when
runners
you have
give you all that.
Yeah, when you have all the information that you can possibly have, it is easy to say I would do this, I would do that, but I mean, knowing myself, if this is my seed in all reality, I probably would have rage quit by now if I wasn't racing it. I dislike walking around looking for connectors.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with Animus in chat that there's still a lot of Death Mountain digging. I'd probably just go back to, assuming I skipped an item in a palace, I'd probably go back to the palace and just see if that's what I need, knowing that Nukasudo is behind that the forest tile, knowing that we're going to need that hammer, and knowing that the boots are in the east.
And those very early magic containers getting us up to 7, I wonder about Nukasudo now,
Yeah. So sometimes the game is telling you something when it gives you a bunch of stuff. Other times it isn't, and then you get led down the wrong path, but, you know, that's the randomizer. I can't believe that Knight has not refound this room at this point. This is a lot. This Palace 6 is wild. I've experienced this myself, though, where I've been in a Palace 6 and I felt like I don't know where I'm missing a connector. And then all of a sudden, you know, third time through it, there it is. It's like, oh, yeah, I didn't take that one pathway. Doesn't happen too often these days, but still, you know, it's possible, especially in a tournament race like this when you feel pressured. There it is.
Here we go. This room right here that Nightshifter is in. This is what he did not do before.
And it's funny because this it's actually the item room is right here. He was that close to it like 30 minutes ago.
Oh my goodness. If this is a hammer or a glove, he's gonna kick himself. Nice.
Yeah, he is in,
we
he's
have
in good
progression,
shape now.
folks. Okay, and you know, Warlock's checking all these caves on the west just to make sure he didn't miss a connector here. I don't hate this play at this point.
Yeah.
But, you know, we know that he needs to actually just get himself into Palace 6.
Just a pea bag under
Yep,
Spec
just
Rock.
the pea bag, and at this point with Nightshifter's levels, you know, that's not really gonna do him a whole lot of good.
Well, I guess that's your glove. That's your boulder block.
Okay, so
cave.
there, now we know. Now we know the rock in the west is Fairy Cave.
Okay, so Knight is actually headed back to P1. That's not a bad play because you're just gonna cruise over to P1, take out Horsehead, and never have to worry about that side of. Okay. Interestingly enough, this was on his mind.
I mean, I don't blame him. Like, I would be hoping for this to also take me somewhere that's, you know, not involving me going back into Death Mountain looking for a connector cave.
Well, it's funny that both just him and Warlock were just in this cave, just from opposite directions. Knight also rechecking these caves to see if there's a continent connector in one of these. And not looking like he's going back to P1, so I take that back. I take that back. That's not the play he's making. Either way, you got to make the walk either now or later. GP is right next to start, so it doesn't really matter when you do it. You got to eventually do it, though. Yeah, Glove could still be in a handful of locations at this. Yeah, it could be in 5. But at this point, we're getting pretty far up there in levels, so P5 is probably not too intimidating at Knight's levels. But, I mean, we've got a handful of checks left. We've got everything in Nukasudo. We've got Risen, P-Bag Cave. We saw Sunken. We've got Desert Tile, Water Tile. We'll have the boots soon enough, I imagine. And, yeah, and then whatever palaces remain. 2 and 5. Okay, well, we also get Spell here, so we'll do the full clear. I can't imagine Spell is not castable at Magic 6 with 112 Magic.
All right, so there's the 8th heart container in Granny's basement.
If this is not the boots in the Spell Tower, I'm concerned. I didn't look too far into the game. Warlock back on Maze Island, thinking maybe he missed an item over here,
I think,
or maybe looking for a cave.
Yeah, I think he was hoping against hope that there would be a cave down at the bottom. But alas.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. In Maze Island, sometimes I'll just do a little bit of extra walking so that I can check those borders to see if there's any rafts or bridges or caves in a corner, so I don't miss that. The moment of truth.
Hey, boots hype.
Footwear
Alright.
acquired.
So this was a pretty nasty logic chain. Which,
See,
I love it.
Yeah, we say that, but given all the signs we had, we saw the glove block in one. We saw a few glove blocked rooms elsewhere as well, though they weren't stopping progression. With that glove block in one, you need the gloves. So like we discussed earlier, probably would not be leaving items behind in palaces, no matter how terrible they felt to dig out of there. Although, in Knight's defense, perhaps he forgot about that room. Perhaps he thought that room was a glove block that he marked out. Oh no. He's got to go back into Death Mountain. He's got to find the other cave. We have a segmented east. Oh, wow.
This speed is something. Wow.
Well, coming back to what I was just saying a moment ago, the whole skipping a P6 is a gamble, and both of them took that gamble, and that gamble came back to bite both of them in the ass at this point. And leaving those items behind with a glove on the table and the potential for anything else at that point, you never know. And you walk over to the east, you see the hammer-blocked town, and it's like, well, it's time to potentially find this item. Like, I gotta go back and get this item. I gotta go back and check this palace. But again, I don't know what was going through their mind exactly whenever they saw that room. Or I guess Warlock has not seen that room at that point, but when Knight saw that room. With that P6, as deep as that was, kind of the way that it looked, as deep as it was hidden, I guess that could have gone in any which way. You could have completely forgotten about that room.
Okay, so it looks like Warlock, after exhausting every other option, is headed back into P6. Perfect.
Although he's seemingly got a little bit of a dig until he finds that room. And hopefully he recognizes that as
I hope he doesn't get frustrated and dip out of here and think he missed something somewhere else.
These are the little things about the randomizer that when you watch them, they don't seem like such a big deal. You look at the seed, and once you see how it's able to be completed, you're like, well, duh, the progression was in P6 and they both skipped it. But as a newer runner, when you're doing this live or you're doing this as a seed of the week or something, and you've got a timer running, it is frustrating. And these are the little things that do catch people off guard all the time. And even veteran runners leave stuff behind that, they got to go back and double dip or even triple dip some places, which feels terrible, but it happens. And, this can really be off-putting to newer runners when they run into things like this. Unfortunately. We don't have a lot of control over the way that certain things are built, and I don't know how easy it is to even implement such a control when it comes to palace structure and where items and bosses could potentially be located in a palace, making things maybe a little bit more forgivable, like as we talk about this P6 being long and deep and that one particular room perhaps creating confusion. I don't know, right? I don't know what potential options we would need to refine seeds to make them a little bit easier for newer runners to get into, but to just introduce people before a tournament happens, introduce them to the game and its logic a little bit better. I don't know. I'm not the person to make that call, but it's entirely possible that in the future changes will be made to it.
Yeah, Warlock has been picking up all the one-ups.
So apparently
Knight up and aid out of Death Mountain. And Animus, I think I know what cave you're talking about that was suspicious looking like a connector. But Knight went the other way. He went in the opposite direction. or he turned past it.
Interesting. When I was ranting there, I was watching Warlock. Totally missed this cave.
So looks like now he is hoping for some kind of other connector in Maze Island. It's not to be. Like you're just gonna have to go back into Death Mountain, unfortunately.
These seeds, again, they look punishing from like a newer runner perspective, and these are the types of seeds that you kind of wish that the veterans would get. Well, it started out pretty amazing, that everything that they were given, but when it comes to some trickier logic, veterans can play these and they make them look really easy. But as a newer runner, as you step into this, anyone who's new or thinking about it or just started, you're going to find yourself seeing logic like this, and it's going to trip you up, and you're going to think that you have like a seed that's not able to be completed. But the 99.9% of seeds that have been rolled over the last year and a half that 4.0 has been out have been absolutely completable. Only every once in a while do we run into a seed that has bugged logic in it. So sometimes it's a really tough puzzle to solve, and you got to see these situations and get burned by them before you realize next time you're like, okay, this is, I've seen something similar to this. This is how we're going to play this.
Yeah, and I mean, it can be really frustrating to be walking around looking for one cave. So, like you said earlier, it's easy for us in commentary to say, well, we should do this, we should do that, I would do it this way, but we have a lot of information, and these runners don't have the same information, so, Yeah,
there's also a lot of focus on this particular logic and the way it's being routed because the runners are doing it this way. Again, if veteran runners walked in here and just stumbled upon the caves the right time at the, immediately, it would look like a really easy seed, and it would kind of just probably get you would just kind of not think too much about it, and we would just continue commenting, doing commentary on the rest of the seed. We'd be like, oh, there's 2 connectors in Death Mountain. We've seen that before, yada, yada, yada. And now as these 2 runners see this and experience this, and it's kind of a slow burn process as they figure it out, it looks a bit more punishing, and there's much more focus on it as we just have to kind of watch it all play out as it goes step by step. It sounds like we need Knight to get back into Death Mountain ASAP here. I hope he does not. He's been in there. He's spent a lot of time in Death Mountain at this point, so it's a little exhausted, I imagine. But we're close. We're close. All right. So Knight did ask. He is stopping to ask in the race room if the seed is beatable, and I did give him the thumbs up that as far as we know, yes. I'll give a second check here.
Okay, Warlock is, Palace 6 is being Palace 6, so Warlock, I think, is a bit turned around at this point.
Okay, I do see the cave that leads elsewhere, so yeah, this is...
Okay, so hopefully Knight is realizing he missed something in here. Warlock up to attack 7.
Yeah, reconfirming with them that I've checked it and the seed looks good. But this is, Warlock now getting information that he's also saying in the race. He's like, good, it's not just, he's like, okay, it's not just me, LOL. So yeah, it kind of gives your opponent information.
It does, yeah. It does give him information like, hey, I'm not the only one, like Nightshifter isn't about to done in GP.
Yeah, and you know, there's nothing against the rules here. I don't think there's anything against the rules of asking, you know, if it's completable, because sometimes, as we just talked about, sometimes we have had seeds that aren't completable, and sometimes they have popped up in tournament races before. So, you know, it's a valid question, just as long as no other information gets shared. It's all good, and I think we're perfectly fine here. Knight just needs to recheck these caves, and it is one that's near the outskirts of our Death Mountain biome here.
I have no idea if Warlock is actually on the right path in this Palace 6, but when he gets to the Fairy Glove room, I will know.
Yeah, I don't remember which. Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. I thought so, Noji. But yeah, he's here, and he knows that you can ferry through this room, so...
Yeah, this is great news here. This is perfect, because as we know, the item room is right here. That'll be his hammer, and he'll be like, okay, let's go to town. They got a little reaction from Warlock on his webcam there.
I think he was extremely excited, and that's what the flailing was, Mirai.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement, and the bit rates made it a little blurry, but yes, there was, I believe it was Celebration. I'm hoping it was Celebration.
Yes, home. Excited TM. Excited to see the progression. I wonder how excited he's going to be when he finds Boots and then...
Oh god, don't...
You know, has to come back in here to Death Mountain.
Oh god. Yeah, so I'm glad we could do this check, though, because this is, you know, if the runners are concerned that this is not a completable seed, not everyone would necessarily be able to just check the seed and whether it can be completed or not. So I'm glad that I'm kind of sitting here. There's a few other people that can check the seed as well, because it's good to have that reassurance. Although I would imagine I'd be in the audience anyway, and if they had any problems, I would be looking as well. I've done that in the past. Whenever we see like a vanilla shuffled east, it's always a little concerning.
Yeah, and Animus is pointing out that Nightshifter needs to go back over to the right side of this Death Mountain to find what we are 99% sure is his missing connector cave. Warlock's about to get some boots. Yeah, this, I mean, depending on how Warlock routes this once he gets these boots, this this exploration that Knight has been on could definitely give Warlock some time to catch up here.
Oh yeah, Knight is close. The cave is right there. He's just...
I see, yeah, he's Knight, please, do you see it? Do you see it?
I mean, at some point you're gonna run into it if you just bother to check every single cave. It's a, you know, sometimes that happens where you're just like, all right, I don't know where it's at, so we're gonna walk in every single cave.
It was the one cave in this cluster that he didn't check last time, like the only one.
So close, so close.
Okay.
Oh!
Yay! Here we go. A beatable seed.
87 minutes into the seed, we're on the southern half of the east, and we're ready to go, baby.
Wow. Wow.
At this point, we're still looking for the glove, though. So I'm going to be checking some item caves. I think we've probably got Risen Peabag Cave down here in the south. It's kind of looking a little suspicious. Maybe not, though. Could be a connector. Oh, it is a pass-through. Okay. Yeah, we got water tile, desert tile. We didn't see any of that stuff up on the north side, so we got all that down here. And again, Risen Peabag Cave. And yeah, Warlock has left the building for a moment. Probably something going on. Hasn't said anything, though. Yeah, yeah.
Nightshifter taking a bop in this lava room. He gets through it that time.
I was gonna say, yeah. He took the lava bath, and then when I looked back at his screen again, he had less magic. I don't know what happened there, but it seemed like it was probably worth or maybe he got hit by. Never mind. Maybe he saw 2 of those and he wasted fairy. He casted 1 of those. I'm not sure what happened there. I was busy. Warlock was sitting down at that point in time. I was making sure everything was okay on his side. Oh, he tried to thunder but missed the bat. That makes perfect sense. And there's something we need.
That is, yeah. So that is go mode for Nightshifter. Glove and Risen Peabag Cave today.
Yeah, so I don't remember what palace we saw when we first walked out of the connector cave here, but
it was 2 or 5, and I didn't see if Nightshifter stabbed the statue.
I don't think he did, but it makes perfect sense that it's 2 or 5 because those are the only 2 we're missing still, and they both look exactly the same from the outside until we check that statue. All right, Warlock.
Okay, so this is P5.
Warlock back in the Death Mountain. It's not normally like this, kids. I hate, we talked about this before earlier in the tournament. We had a seed, I'm sure, at some point where things started to get a little exhausting for the runners. But I don't know. As someone who's run a lot of seeds in the last year and a half, I don't really know. I don't really have any words to console any new runners. Is that sometimes you run into things like this, and again, you got to get burned by these things in order to realize that this is what can happen. This isn't all that normal where you have this really segmented logic, but coming back to what Royal and I were talking about very early on with the randomizer, the things that it can create. And this is some crazy connection, and this, from a technical standpoint, is wonderful. But from a new runner standpoint, is a little frustrating.
Yeah, or even like just, a casual runner. Like I've been playing this game for quite a while. I played vanilla as a kid all the time, and I just am not, like, I play the randomizer for fun and very casually, and a seed like this would have me wandering for a long time. Warlock, please. Left. He's not going left. He's doing the same thing Nightshifter did.
He's probably looking for like an island or something that's kind of lonely, like this one up here that we know is a connector that Knight had shown us and reached already. But yeah, sometimes it is those little islands that stick out all by themselves with the cave facing kind of a weird direction. But not this time, unfortunately. This one is, it is interesting that a lot of the time, I'd say more often than not, that it does seem that the caves really stick out. And they're not usually bunched in with everything else. That makes it a little confusing. And this time, one of them kind of stuck out. The second one, though, is kind of bunched in. But once you get a good look at it from kind of a satellite view, you realize that, yeah, it's facing south and there's nothing connecting to it. So,
yeah, and I think that is one of the more difficult things to kind of explain to newer runners is the logical cave connection. Basically, like those two caves Warlock just went in, he probably didn't need to check either end because reasonably they will connect to each other with this logic in the randomizer. You know, when you get to this point, you check every cave because you're wondering, what the heck did I miss? But, you know, sometimes when you see a bunch of caves clustered together like that, and you haven't been dealing with the cave logic as long, you might not realize, you know, I need to either check every single one of these, or hey, there's this one here that's not connected to any of the others.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been trolled myself on a western caldera that I can remember, where I thought the two caves that were pointing towards each other were indeed just a basic pass-through, but it ended up being a connector and an item cave that were facing each other, and I got trolled by that. So it happens every once in a while, but when we play with the restrict cave shuffle, what is that called? Restrict cave connector shuffle.
Yeah.
When we restrict the cave connector shuffle, is that when the caves are facing each other, 99.9% of the time, they're going to just connect to each other. It's a safe assumption to make.
So I think Warlock is probably thinking that he checked every single thing possible on Death Mountain, because I'm wondering if he's wandering around this water thinking that maybe somehow the water tile could be mixed in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Night finding all the dead ends here in P5.
At least based on the conversation, the short conversation that was had in the race room, Warlock at least knows that he's got confirmation through Knight asking whether this was completable or not, and me answering that yes, it is. So Warlock knows that there is an answer out there. He just needs to find it. And it's interesting, though, because talking about the Death Mountain connectors that can throw people off, we have had numerous tournament races that, since I've been around at least, with the 4.0 randomizer, that have really caught some runners off guard. They leave something behind, and it catches them later. It's not as closed as this. There wasn't I don't know. It sounds like I'm making excuses for something, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to end up repeating myself and saying that this is logic that can happen, and you got to see it or experience it to know that this is how it can play out, and you got to be aware of some buried connectors in Death Mountain at times. Then again, a good portion of the early game was simply spent on the fact that they both gambled on P6's item not being a thing they're going to need, and this time around it was a thing they needed.
That is true, yeah. Knight taking a death in this triple dripper lava room, which this is a community room that I actually really enjoy.
Love it.
I think that's a great room.
Agreed. It adds a little bit of platforming to a game that usually has just solid floors and small gaps here and there, but it adds that platforming element to it, and it's really cool. The drippers there can troll you at times. Sometimes you have a bad dripper enemy, and if it drips in the middle of you trying to make a jump, you have to then react and move quickly and react to that. But otherwise, a great little room. Once you master it, it's a great little room.
Okay, Warlock is headed back over to this cluster where we know that connector cave lives, so...
He's right there! He's right there! Warlock!
You're so close, buddy. Just go to the other side. South, Warlock, south, please.
As they say, Knight's still looking for Guma, but just wanders into his room right there. Perfect.
Alright, let's see.
Unshielded hits, I believe, is what we're seeing here, is just about 2 heart containers worth of damage at life 7. So life 7 is definitely doing some work, it looks like.
Yeah, life 7 is
I'm going to say we get 4 bars of health restored from this life spell.
Nightshifter using one of my favorite Guma strats here, which is cheese Guma off the screen, so the mace... Oh yes, here we go. Here we go.
Warlock's got it. Let's go, buddy. Don't know if there's any glove locks in here. I don't remember what Knight showed us, but if there are, you're going to need that glove that's just east from here. There's not too much left to explore. We need, again, desert tile, water tile, 1 cave left. Some towns? I think there's some towns over here still we haven't seen.
Yeah, we haven't seen Old Kasuto or Naburu?
No, I think maybe... we
did
did
see Naburu? Yeah, we saw Naburu. Naburu had fire.
Yeah, and we saw Darunia as well, because we have...
So we're just missing Old Kasuto.
Yeah, see, this is what we were talking about earlier, is that having the candle, Knight not knowing that the candle was in P3, whereas Warlock had gotten that hint out of Naburu. And now he's got the candle, he's got the cross, and he can see everything in those lava encounters, making them pretty easy to just kind of traverse and just jump through. You know where the bats are at, you know where the moas are at. There doesn't seem to be any moas in these encounters in this seed, but just knowing where the bats are at, because they control the hell out of you in the dark when you're trying to make those jumps. It's just so very nice to have that, whereas again, Warlock having that hint for P3, Rebenak rides with the candle, not picking up the candle as a result, and so you'll have to push through these in the dark. Although, with a lot of fairy casts, it's not usually a big deal.
No, and it looks like Nightshifter is opting for encounter skips instead of fairy feet here to get through these rooms. There are these encounters in Valley of Death. Which, I mean, is fine if you're inconsistent with fairy feet. It's better just to get through them.
I don't really know where Guma was in relation to all of these junctions and whatnot.
I think, unless that room that Warlock was just in with the red and orange iron knuckle was a copy of a room, Nightshifter was in that room not long before he found Guma, but I don't think he went up. I think he went to the right.
I think you're absolutely right, but I think Knight went up first and cleared everything up here, and then came back to that.
Yeah.
The thing is, in that 4-way, it's the way that the elevators are laid out in the game, they're in very specific positions. They're only allowed to be in very specific positions, the way the game is coded. And so where that elevator lies in that 4-way room, just a quick check to the right is just 1 page away. It's a very quick check to the right. It's always kind of worth checking that. Or you just get looped around, as Warlock is showing us here. Or is it not a loop? It's a copy of that one room. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't pay enough attention to P5 on Knight's side when he was in there.
No, I didn't either. I was too busy really hoping for Warlock to find his connector cave in Death Mountain. Homewrecker, I don't think it works that way. Like, I don't think you can confirm for yourself that you are in fact sensible. But, you know, you do you, buddy.
Oh, I see what happened there. Crumb misreading 2 names, merging them together as the sensible homewrecker.
Warlock is like, do I want the 1-up? No, but I'm gonna go back and stab it. Or stab near it. I think that was an excitement stab. He's so excited to finally be on this part of the segmented east that he was like, I need to just express my joy.
Yeah. Sometimes it's worth, if you think you're not going to do a good Guma fight in P5, sometimes it's worth considering grabbing that 1-up. This time, though, not so much. He has attack 7, and like you said, he's run vanilla before, so...
yeah, his levels are great at this point. So yeah, I don't think he should have any problem. I mean, Nightshifter didn't have too much of a problem with Guma on attack 5, so I think Warlock should be just fine.
Yeah, we think it's just south, just down in this room that he just came from. Yeah, it's a dead end here, so he's gonna have to go back. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, Sag.
Well, Knight is still looking for Helmet Head here.
Yeah, and you know, I think that I find this a lot, especially with like newer runners or people less familiar with the randomizer. They expect Palace 2 because it's the second Palace in the game. They expect it to be probably like short and easy. And I have told people more than once, I'm just like, no, actually, Palace 2 is not really that short in the vanilla game, and it could be a troll in the randomizer.
Absolutely. 2 and 4 are they can be sneaky long. They can be longer palaces. It can feel those 2s and those 4s can. Yeah, absolutely. We already know 5 and 6 can feel long. They're definitely going to be long just based off the vanilla room counts. But talking about that earlier, if 2 and 4 roll a little linear, and if they roll up in their room count, it can be kind of a dig for the boss or kind of a dig for the item in one direction. And so, yeah, not a super short palace. 1 and 3, your shortest palaces. The other ones, medium to long to very long.
All right, and Nightshifter finding Helmet Head, taking him down pretty easily with attack 6. Okay, so this is Warlock's last Eastern overworld check, so I think he knows the glove has to be here at this point, unless... No, we got Go East to find the glove, didn't we? Did we get a glove hint this seed? I don't remember. Got Go East to find the boots. We didn't get a glove hint.
Yeah, I don't remember a glove hint.
Okay, so he's going to be happy to see this. I mean, happy, TM. Warlock saved the kid. Yes, he did save. He saved Lazy Kid. It's true. But Nightshifter didn't. So, you know, just take comfort in that. Homewrecker and Animus. Yeah, Trails, Nightshifter's been in go mode ever since he found the glove. I think it was like the second overworld check that he did when he got access to the second part of that East continent. Warlock is just in go mode.
Yeah, Knight found the glove just shy of the 90-minute mark, so he's been ready to go since then. He was in 5 for a little bit. Again, Warlock kind of doing the exact same thing. It's funny that both the runners making the same gambles, having it come back to bite them, and then kind of routing 5 the same way. And unfortunately, Warlock not finding the boss right away, but he'll hopefully find it this time.
And with that glove, Nightshifter is finally able to head back to this Maze Island, Palace 1, and check out this glove-blocked side that we think Horsehead is living in.
Yeah, you know what? Wow, what a ridiculous statement I made earlier when it was after Nightshifter had the boots, and I was like, he's going back to P1 to take out Horsehead, and it didn't even click with me that he didn't have the glove at that point in time, so he couldn't have reached Horsehead. So apologies for that, but I don't know, hour and a half ago, hour 20, something I said that. Let's just correct that back in the past.
I think chat caught that, but there was so much going on that I did not mention it. And see, with this room again in P1, and yep, here's Horsehead, but this time Nightshifter has the glove and doesn't use Fairy to get through it. There was Horsehead.
Are we gonna see a gem being burned here?
I doubt it. I think, you know, like I can't ever imagine getting to a point in this game where I would actually burn a gem. Like, no matter how good I got at it, I just can't see it happening. I think you guys are nuts when you do it.
Yeah. At some point, you might be looking for some time saves, and you're trying to just squeeze everything out. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it hurts. It's another one of those gambles.
All right, 148.13. Nightshifter into GP. Let's see what the Chicken Squad has for us tonight.
That's right, no jump. No jump for Nightshifter here, opting not to grab the child.
No, and Warlock did grab the child. I wonder if he is going to bother going back to Darunia for jump.
He may have been just looking to adopt, so.
It's true.
So Warlock's still getting kind of turned around here in this P5. I do think what you said earlier, that four-way was the answer. I think it's just to the right of there, and Guma's nearby.
Yeah, we saw Nightshifter go through pretty much all of this P5 though, so it, you know, P5 gonna P5.
Yeah, he kind of lucking out on that, where Warlock could have saved some time again just by guessing correctly in some rooms, but
okay, this might be it though. It looks like he's going right here, and this might be the way.
Yeah, I think he needs to go up. It's a four-way.
Oh, right. That's right.
We did just see speaking of four-ways, we did just see a four-way as well in GP over here on Knight's side. And we went up, so we've still got some options left there. As he's taking quite the beating from this red bird just sitting on his ass and just kicking it the whole way there.
I think Krista would be proud of her Chicken Squad so far. It looks like they are bringing the pain to Nightshifter here in GP.
Does Knight, did Knight grab upstab? I don't remember.
He did. Yes, he did grab upstab.
Okay, so the easiest way through this then would probably just to get some height, be to get some height in those waffles, and then the birds, they have a little bit more tougher time to follow. Or upstab them as they jump at you, hit them, and then they get knocked back for a second or two, and you can continue to progress forward. Here's our four-way on Warlock's side. He just needs to hold right here, I think. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is the room. Oh, Warlock. I think he's gone everywhere in 5 other than right at that four-way.
It is sure looking that way.
He's probably quite mentally exhausted, though, at this point, closing in on the 2-hour mark.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure he is. So, let's see. Please go. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, just sitting, chilling right there. All right, so there you go. See, Knight went high in that waffle. You can go high when you've got a bird on you as well, and it's a little late. It's back on the other side of the room, but yeah, that's a play to make. The birds they have to get through the steps that you create, through the cuts that you create through the waffle. It takes them just a little bit more time. They're going to come chase you, but you can buy yourself a little bit of time if you're able to cut through those waffles pretty quickly.
And Attack 7 making really quick work of Guma here. It's a shame that Warlock spent so much time getting looped around in this palace, because he definitely has the attack advantage as opposed to when Knight was in here with Attack 5.
Yeah, this could have been a huge time save for Warlock here, but unfortunately, I think he spent more time in 5 than Knight did at this point.
Yeah, with the double dip especially. didn't help him.
That's true. So I think we've seen all the directions of that four-way I talked about earlier here in GP. We went up and we eventually, I think we dead-ended. We took a different direction, then we came in from the right, and now we're headed left out of that four-way. We have another junction in the GP, what we call the GP item room. And there's a left there that Knight has behind him, but then he went down and right into this path, and we'll see if this leads to Thunderbird. For anyone not familiar with this lag set we're running here in the standard tournament, what makes it more of a standard tournament is that we have Thunderbird required to be killed. So we're looking for Thunderbird before we can reach Darklink. Thunderbird will be on the path to Darklink. Once you find Thunderbird, you know you're on the right path. So that's what we're looking for here. And of course, that's why our runners had to grab the Thunder spell earlier on, even though it was pretty free. And it looks like we might have hit the other side of this GP item room, although this could be a copy. We've seen several copies of rooms in palaces already. No, that looks like a loop.
Yes, it does. And Warlock is now into P2. He did opt to use the Fairy Feet screen wrap through Valley of Death, so that saved him a little bit of time having to wait for encounters to do encounter skips.
Yeah, that was nice.
We'll see if, wow, Nightshifter taking some lava baths.
Yeah, two of them in that room from birds. It's got a little. You got to be really, really fast on the fairy cast at times. You got to be. It's sometimes that you got to have. You get hit and you react too slowly. It happens to all of us, but it is something that it does help to work on. Sometimes it comes down to key bindings. I know my select key, my select button on the controller is not actually where the select button is, so that I can press it even faster than having to reach my hand over, my finger over to the middle of the controller.
Yeah, I think that's something that we don't talk about enough in this community. It's like where you bound your controller keys.
Yeah, and that does come down to kind of what device you use. If you are on console, I think you're kind of stuck with the NES brick, which a lot of people do enjoy using. I did like it myself, but it is a little small for my hands, and the way that I grip the brick is it just doesn't, for an extended period of time or repeated seeds throughout the week that I play, it just eventually starts to build like this callus kind of on my finger, on my bone in a weird way, and it's just not really good. And maybe I could hold it differently, maybe not, but I've pretty much moved to the dog bone controller that the SNES or Super Famicom is known for. And a lot of people either tend to use the brick or they tend to use something that seems to be like a dog bone shaped controller. That seems to be the most popular versions of controllers.
Yeah, I prefer the dog bone style, the SNES or Super Famicom style controller. Knight taking a death to the Bago Bago, but he's got plenty of lives.
Yeah, I didn't catch which direction he tried this time, but he's obviously on a new path here. These Bago Bagos still hitting like trucks, even at life 7. We talked about how Guma was only hitting him for 2 heart containers at life 7, unshielded. And here we've got Bago Bagos that you would normally see in the overworld that tickle you at life 7. But in GP, those flying skulls, or the flying skullfish is what they're supposed to be, I guess. They still hit you for a full heart container in GP. Everything hits like a truck in here. That is true. Homewrecker pointing out there is a dogbone style controller for the NES. That's right. It was on the top loader re-release of the console.
Very true. I've never tried that controller. All right, here we go. Thunderbird for Nightshifter. So he's on the right path. He had enough to cast Thunder and Reflect, and I think he has enough for 1 life spell cast as well.
Yeah, well, that would have been Shield in Old Kasuto, huh?
Yes. Which we never saw.
Yeah, neither one of our runners found Old Kasuto. It might have been in a trolley spot. We saw a cave facing east when we first walked into Death Valley's little stringy pathway to the volcano. That could have been a little compartment over there for Old Kasuto. Not really sure, but at that point, they were probably just ready to get in palaces and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, I don't blame them. This this seed has been, you know, for a couple of relatively newer runners, this seed has been trolly.
Yeah, something to point out here in this room. This is the one room that has the potential for a 50-50 jar. It's the only room in GP that has a regular-looking statue head that has a jar in it. Otherwise, they're all Bird Knight statues. And there was something, Knight being low on magic is something that caught my eye on, that he could have tried for a 50-50 jar. But then again, he might have just gotten trolled by a red bird, because it still could be a red bird that comes out of a regular-looking statue.
Warlock taking down Helmet Head very quickly with attack 7 there.
Yeah, and he's ready to go. Oh no, he needs to go back to P1. Keep forgetting
Yeah,
about P1 on
he does have to do. Yeah, it's, you know, it's kind of annoying, but the most annoying thing I think is the walk across the dry canyon.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing there. It's just tourist mode. You're just walking across the entire thing. It just so happens that Start is all the way on the east, and the Maze Island Bridge is all the way on the I'm sorry, the Start is on the west, and the Maze Island Bridge is all the way on the far east of it.
Nightshifter came up the elevator into this that winter solstice room, which I really like the look of that room. I just think it's a cool looking room.
The one with the glove lock elevator?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of a regular standard palace room, of just having the blocks make up the floor like that in sections, and then with the added elevator there that is glove locked. It's always nice to have a few other glove locked rooms. There's not a ton of them in vanilla GP. I think they're just waffle rooms in vanilla GP that are glove locks, or I guess there's the down stab up stab block room as well. Wow, we got some options post Thunderbird here on wherever Darklink may lie.
Yeah, I mean, this happens sometimes when you see some of those big loops pre-Thunderbird, like we saw Nightshifter get caught in a decent-sized loop. So sometimes then after T-Bird, you end up with maybe a little more palace than you would hope for. And Warlock is just, you know, on the move, through the flying, everything, straight to the glove block. He's not wasting any time here.
I don't know how many lives Knight has left. We saw one death after Thunderbird. I don't know if we saw any other deaths after that. I'm just thinking that if he gets a game over, this is quite the setback. Darkling could be right here, though. Oh. And I only say that because this room can sometimes troll you with the way that these dots fly across the screen.
Yeah, whoever decided that these dots should also go diagonal, I would like a word. I would like a word.
I think, well, the diagonal, I think, is 100% a result of putting both vertical and horizontal dots in the same room. I think the game breaks when that happens, because that doesn't happen. You never see the horizontal. Oh no. I saved it.
Okay, he does have to go all the way out and back in, but at least he's not taking another death in this room.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, you never see both vertical and horizontal dots in the same room together. And so I think because the randomizer can do that, it turns the vertical ones into horizontal ones. But they get kind of buggy because sometimes they just push right through there, right through you, as like their hitbox is kind of broken. It's almost like a visual artifact. But then again, sometimes they do smack you on a diagonal, so I don't know. I don't have any further information behind
I mean,
that.
I just, you know...
Oh
no! The dangers of downstab. Oh, that is really unfortunate because Warlock just went... I mean, you know, Nightshifter has a huge exploration advantage here, and he's already beaten Thunderbird, but... You know, Warlock's in GP.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what direction it was that that you had to go. It didn't seem like it was attached to the four-way. So if we see Or it could have been. It could have been because there was another junction. Okay, it could be left at the 2 junctions starting from the 4-way. Like I said, I didn't remember where.
Yeah, well, I mean,
through.
we have a decent amount of options still after Thunderbird that we haven't seen, so...
Oh, it could be a down. I thought we originally saw the 4-way from a down, but we did it for coming up from a down, but we didn't. Okay. All right, so it is down and left. All right, easier to pay attention to GP routing when both our runners are in GP here.
Yes, very much so. Those rooms with the 1-ups encased in the blocks, like it's nice to find a 1-up or a fairy randomly in GP, but those rooms terrify me, and you know, after what we just saw on Nightshifter's side, I think everyone knows why.
Yeah, there's an enemy placement that's not too far from where that 1-up is at, just to the left of it. And if it's like a stationary enemy, it's not a big deal. But if it's one of the bird knights, he's coming for you as you're digging into those blocks, and then you got to get out of those blocks. You got to hope that he's not on top of you by the time you reach that. Otherwise, you know, that 1-up might just be spent right there. The AI on these bird knights, I absolutely love them. They're not none of the AI is randomized in the randomizer. I think the AI in this game is still something that's not 100% known on exactly how some of these things function. There's some craziness built into it, but these bird knights in GP, sometimes they feel sentient, man. Sometimes they just will chase you in such a way that's almost scary.
Yeah, agreed. You know, like you think you've outrun it, and there it is coming after you. It's yeah.
It's like an 80s horror movie.
It is pretty cool. See, like that, like those, they don't need to go diagonally.
Well, I mean, it's a cool effect. I would like to see dots that have varying speeds. I would like to see that. Because
Right, please.
Well,
I would like to not ever see that.
Homewrecker Royale's not any fun.
Wow.
Save me.
Homewrecker's going, yeah, he'll agree with you there probably, or he'll at least laugh at me.
All right, so Warlock back to the 4-way here. He needs to go down and left. He's probably going to go up and right, though. Unless he's a gambling man. He might go down and left at this point, knowing he's probably behind.
Okay.
Oh, that's a new elevator, I think, on Knight's side. That's going to be a community room variant of the vanilla fairy room. But it's got kind of a trick. Oh, there it is, right there, right there. Okay, it could be at the top. Oh.
Wow.
Well, even if Warlock had chosen the right way the first time in GP, he still would have been a little bit behind.
Yeah.
Probably would not have been enough to close the gap, especially Knight, seeing as much as he had seen game overing, and then knowing the path the next time, not having to deal with Thunderbird that time through, being able to save those resources, and that's going to be a GG for Knight at this point.
Yeah, definitely GG's Knight. And GG's to Warlock too. You know, he was 2 or 3 gems down when Knight came into GP.
Yeah.
And here he is at Thunderbird. So, you know, he definitely, like, he spent a long time in P5, but his routing in P1 and P2 was, like, you know, P1 was quick, but P2 he was not in there as long as Nightshifter was. GG's to Nightshifter. Official racetime.gg time of 2:06:52. I love attack 6+ Thunderbird. I really do. Like attack 7 Thunderbird. It's so nice. It's so easy.
I think we're going to get some interview action here from at least Knight. Warlock has congratulated Knight, so he has seen the dot. He has seen the finish, but he's going to continue to push on here. Very nice jump there. That's certainly a way to do it. Yeah, you should leave 2 blocks. If you leave 2 blocks on the bottom there, because if you have upstab, you leave 2 blocks on the bottom, you can jump up there a little bit easier. But Warlock, showing us that it's very easy to make that 3-tile high jump there, no problem.
Yeah, he does a good job with the bigger jumps.
Yeah.
Which probably some of his vanilla experience helps out with that.
At this
King Bot is so fast for how big they are. Like that's another one that will just chase you across a whole room.
Yeah, I'm not sure this is the right direction. We need to find that fairy room, and then we'll know. But I think it's down in another direction, because Knight was in this direction, and I don't think this is where Darklink is, but I could be wrong. Nightshifter joining us. GG.
GG's Knight.
Thank you, both of you. And all I have to say is, oh my god, could that not have been a more wickedly two tails of a seed?
Yeah, that was some... Those connector caves were a little brutal.
A little brutal? Those were probably the 2 worst connector caves I've ever seen.
But now you've seen them, and now you know.
Oh yes, now I see, now I know, and it's just like, oh my gosh, those were stupid buried in that canyon. Outside of that, I think I did really well with the seed.
Yeah, it's interesting that the 2 of you routed things very similarly. Where Warlock could have saved some time, where you spent some digging and skipping things, Warlock also spent time digging and skipping the exact same things, it seemed. And so any time loss that you felt you might have been experiencing, Warlock was pretty much doing the exact same thing you were. Just happened to be that way. He could have found the you both skipped the item in P6, and that came back to bite both of you.
Yeah,
and then
I just, with that P6 was very twisty and turny, and when I finally realized what mistake I had made, I went, oh, I didn't fairy when I had fairy and could fairy.
Okay, yeah. And I was really glad to see that when you went back in there, because like when you noped out of that room, I said to Mariah, I was like, he noped out of the room. I hope he knows he can ferry through that room, because there's a whole side that we didn't. There's a section of P6 that we did not see.
Yeah, I saw. My brain saw block, went no glove. I'm screwed, and then go, dummy. You have fairy. There's a gap. Go.
No, I was just glad that when you went back in there, that you remembered that you could ferry through that room.
Oh, as soon as I saw the room, I was like, oh no.
And it took you a hot minute to refine that room as well.
Yeah, that P6 was just twisty.
Now, the first time you saw it, you did dig through it for the item after finding Barba, and Warlock didn't. So it seemed like if the item wasn't going to be locked in P6, that he could have saved some time. But unfortunately, the item for progression of the entire seed was locked in P6. And again, both of you, having skipped it, had to go back and refine. You had to refine that room. Warlock had not seen it yet, but once he did see it, then he was ready to go. But it still took both of you a good amount of time to get that hammer out of there. And then that opened things up, and you got the boots, and then it was back to Death Mountain.
Yes.
And both of you were in there for a long time as well. So,
believe me, the fact that we both came in this race room and went, are you sure this seed's beatable? That should tell you how frustrated we were with that Death Mountain.
I'm glad we could confirm that it was beatable, because I even looked before, like right before you asked, I was looking to, or not right before you asked, but I looked a little bit earlier to make sure that there was a progression item in 6 and it was accessible. And so I knew that. And then after that, you were Death Mountain, and I hadn't looked any further into the seed. And a few people in chat were pointing out, they were saying, I think it's that cave there. I think you might have said that as well, Royale. I missed it. But then I went to check to make sure that there was indeed a connector there, and it was properly going to send you to the south side of the east. And then you asked, and I said, yep, I have checked, and it's definitely good. It's, I didn't say it's in there, but I said the seed is definitely completable from what we know.
As soon as you said that, I was like, okay, let's make round 3 of going around Death Mountain. And sure enough, I found it. And as soon as I did, I was like, oh, for the love of...
Yeah, and it was a cave that was just kind of facing south with no other connector on the other side of it. Yeah.
I thought I had gone through that cave and had found a connector. I guess I was wrong.
To be fair, it was clustered up in a section of Death Mountain that had one of those 4-ways with a bunch of exits. Like, it's not... It wasn't like it was sticking out in the middle of nowhere by itself looking suspicious.
Yeah. I was very pleased with my Barba fight, though.
Yeah, your Barba fight was very nice.
And I also thought I did pretty good with Guma, too.
You did, and your early game routing was also really good. You avoided having to double dip some of the towns with a lot of those free items on the west.
Yeah, I kind of like to prioritize caves over towns early on sometimes, just because I never know. Oh, it says it's here in the west, and I saved myself twice because I found both medicine and trophy, and those were the 2 towns I was missing. And sure enough, Thunder and Reflect, I was like, oh my goodness.
So were we. We were like, wow, Jet Seed galore here, folks. And then...
Yeah, I was expecting that too with how the seed was unfolding, and then just full stop.
Yeah, someone hit the e-brake in the car as you were doing 120.
Yeah. and then that GP was no fun either.
Yeah, there were some choices to make in GP, and you found, I believe, all the wrong ways before finding Thunderbird. Warlock, not so much, though. Warlock did take the first left at that 4-way, found, I believe it was a dead end, and then he walked back, he went down and left, which was the right way from that 4-way. And then he has found pretty much every direction after Thunderbird, which has been wrong. So he's just past the Thunderbird's room again at this point.
Oh,
I think.
No.
He'll be there eventually,
Yeah, Darkling's kind of... You have to go through. I believe I had to go through a couple very identical looking rooms to get to Darkling, and that can throw you off.
Yeah, a few of our palaces today had some copies of rooms that might have messed some routing up. But other than that, I mean, the P6 gamble was again on both of your sides. The dig into Death Mountain. Well, here's what's interesting, I guess, is that I'm pretty sure that Warlock is the one who found the first connector to the east, to the north side of the east, before you did, but then didn't. He had not done nearly as much exploring Death Mountain as you had. So when he realized there was nothing more to do in the north side of the east, he did go back into Death Mountain, and then he just pretty much did what you did, and he spent as much time looking around for a connector, which wasn't the wrong play to make necessarily. I mean, it was the wrong play to make, is what the seed wanted, but you had no idea, so it was a valid play to make at that point. And so while there were a lot of times where he could have had time saves, but ended up not being able to do that. But that's not a dig on him by any means. It's simply that you're presented with, so many choices, a list of things to do, and you just kind of gamble and you guess on which thing you think you should do first. And it's just so it's funny from our perspective. It's a little amusing, frustrating from both of your perspectives, I'm sure, but amusing from the top down view is that both of you were doing very, very, very similar things, and the time saves that Warlock could have had ended up just being the same time sinks that you ended up seeing.
Yeah, Rando's gonna Rando.
Yeah.
This seed is a great example of that, actually.
Oh yeah.
Between
And-
like the troll P6, the nasty linear logic chain.
But hey, at least we avoided any kind of vanilla tonight.
We avoided vanilla. You avoided rescuing the child, which made some people in chat very happy.
As I was not going to bother with any of the eastern towns once I had Fairy Thunder and Reflect plus life. That was a very good life. I was like, I am not going to even think twice about Darunia.
Yeah, and that could have been something that saved you a little bit of time here. We are seeing a lot of these waffle rooms, Warlock in one of them right now with a lot of blue birds. Jump could have potentially helped there, but then again, that would have been getting the kid going back to the top side of the east and going 3 screens into Darunia. So probably a good bit of time that would have cost you, and I don't know if it would have saved you that much time in GP.
I figured with as good as life was, as much magic as I had, and magic being, and yeah, with as much magic as I did have, I figured I'm just gonna put my head down and bull through GP. I will heal myself through it.
Yeah, Shield was going to be an old Kasuto today, and again, neither one of you picked up Shield. We didn't see old Kasuto on either runner's screen, so we don't even know where it was.
Oh wow, I think Olusu was the only town I didn't come across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with all 8 heart containers, good levels, a life spell healing for 4 bars, like, I mean,
And
I think that's a very reasonable play to just say, skip the quality of life stuff and let's just go for it through GP.
yeah, but back to the early on, I felt really good. I got some really great levels early on. I think I was like 4, 5, 5, barely half hour in. I was feeling good.
You were getting a lot of 500 point P-bag drops early on.
I was so happy to see those. I especially that one. I think there was an early cave or spot I was in where I got it, where I went from basically 1-1-1 right to 2-2-3.
Oh yeah, when you were in Trophy Cave early on, yes.
Yeah.
That just made me so happy because that is such good levels early.
Yeah, you definitely had the early level advantage over Warlock too.
Yeah, we were commenting on that, that he was like at 1-1-2-1 or something, and you were at like whatever it was. You had almost like double the levels at that point, and it was
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was a little slow to get going there in the beginning, but that can be something that definitely affects the game. Is like who can get started first, who takes more deaths, who can grab those bags and kill more enemies and level those stats up and get moving. And he took a handful of game overs early on, and that's something that definitely set him a little bit further back.
Oh yeah. But this seed was frustrating because how the early game felt so good, and then to have the next half be so bad, it just
Agreed.
Yeah, I can see how that would be very frustrating to have a seed start out looking like such a jet and then end up being such a troll.
I mean, yeah, I won the race, but it doesn't feel like I did good with winning the race.
Yeah, I mean, like we said when you came in here, and we said it numerous times throughout the commentary, is that you see these things, and when you get burned by them, you learn them. You learn them more so when you do get burned by them, and now you're going to know that Death Mountain could very well have, the connectors required for our segmented areas.
And also pay attention to my rooms in my dungeons.
Yes. And Warlock has joined us. Warlock, GG, you did just finish up here.
Warlock.
GG.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought this sea can just go dump in a pool of lava.
Did you also skip the hammer the first time?
Yes. We did very like we've been talking about. You and me did a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
My problem was I saw the room connected to where the item room was. I just spaced that I could get through on ferry.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I just said, you know what? I'll come back because I found Barbara kind of quick and fought Barbara for an hour. I'm like, I'm gonna do everything else I can and come back.
Okay.
I spent way too much time in Death Mountain before going back.
I think we spent probably a good hour of our seed in Death Mountain, and I don't want to see Death Mountain anytime soon.
Probably. Yeah, when you asked if the sea was beatable, I was like 4 rooms away from getting my hammer.
Oh, wow. I was already back in Death Mountain, knowing that I needed the second connector. I just could not find it. And then probably about 5 minutes after I had asked that, sure enough, I found it. And it was like, oh, son of a gun.
Yeah, then I went into Palace 5 really quick, and I'm like, okay, glove's not here. I still need the glove.
Yeah, as soon as I got the glove out of, I believe that was...
It was Risen P-Bag Cave.
Risen P-Bag Cave, I went, okay, we just gotta throw those jets back on and go.
Yep. Yeah, I kept looking over, I'm like, you're not done yet. Why aren't you done yet?
Believe me, when I got to about the hour 30 mark and I popped in to ask and I saw that you weren't done either, I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah. No, I was still stuck at that point. I knew what it was. I just figured it was some cave off in the far corner because I didn't have boots yet.
No, it was just really weirdly positioned.
Yeah.
It was placed for maximum trolling.
Yeah. Which, it's on a restream. That's totally acceptable.
Yeah. When Knight asked whether the seed was beatable or not, I'm kind of glad that you got that confirmation as well, because I had a feeling that it might have been setting in and frustration was setting in on like, what are we supposed to do? Where's the thing we need? It's kind of good to get that reassurance that, we looked at it. It looks good until we have, some other reason to say no. I didn't want to look too far into the seed because then it kind of spoils it for the commentary. I just wanted to look a few steps ahead to make sure that, something progression related was in P6, which again, as Knight had talked about, we were talking about this right before you stepped in, is that you both skipped it. And it was the place that you needed to not skip this time. Oh, man. And the fact that you were both digging around in Death Mountain for so long, both of you, you just the way it all played out that, there were a handful of times where Knight spent a lot of time in something, and we were thinking that we were talking about how you would roll up into P5, knowing that Knight had seen a lot of P5, and then we realized that right near the beginning of P5 there's that 4-way elevator, and Duma was just off to the right, but both of you went all the directions other than that right.
Of course.
Yeah, it could have been a big time save in some spots for you, Warlock, but it was just choices, just kind of rando, guesses. Just you would have had to have guessed right or guessed correctly to make up a lot of time. But as we've repeated numerous times throughout this this particular stream, rando gonna rando.
I was also still looking for the glove the first time I went into P5. That's why as soon as I found the item room, I was like, all right, I need to find this glove because I don't want to hit another wall in P5 that's glove locked.
That is true. Knight stepped into that palace there right as you exited, right as you entered into the south side of the east, and then said, nah, I'm going to go look around first. And then, as he said just a moment ago, that it was in Risen P-Bag Cave. He found it first, then he went in. But yeah, that's valid to me.
Some told me that, do what remaining east exploration I had, and if the glove wasn't in the remaining spots, just start diving the rest of the dungeons.
Yeah. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Grand tour of Death Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, chat loves a troll seed, so...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know we made chat happy.
Yeah. Now I'm sitting there thinking, I was like, okay, did I need the boots to get to that cave, or did I just miss it when I did it the first time?
No, you needed the boots to get to that cave.
Yeah, it was boots locked by the slightest bit.
It just, it was surrounded by all the other caves that were part of that four-way on that little island block
Right.
in Death Mountain. So I think, it looked like you could have reached it without boots, but then when you start like looking at that island, that chunk of caves, you actually can't.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Psychonaut, thank you for gifting us such this wonderful seed.
No, I'm sorry. Psycho actually left a few minutes ago. I'm his non-union Irish equivalent, who's also called Psychonaut, but he passes on his regards. Yeah, GG's devoted to you, though. Honestly, that was something else to watch. Let me tell you.
That was actually kind of fun. Once you figured it out, it was fun. It just felt kind of like, all right, where is this buried?
Yeah, it was getting to the next step of progression that was tough.
Yeah, real fast. It's like when you see these seeds, you play them out in real time. They're confusing, they're frustrating. Now when you see the whole top-down view of it all, and you're like, well, that really wasn't too bad. I mean, I just had to find those caves. They were just caves. It wasn't like you had to make it through a giant pit full of blue birds, to get across somewhere at Life 1. But it was just a cave sitting somewhere, and it was just simply that no one could find the cave, right? And that's it.
I mean, yeah, it could have been way worse. It could have been like logically required go through Valley of Death with no ferry to get through the other side of the volcano. Like that would have been really gross.
It could have been a whole lot worse than it was. I do agree.
Well, yeah, GG. I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because you guys can see my tracker. I had marked East Death Mountain for both of those caves as soon as I went back in, because I'm like, it has to be here.
Yes, I did notice that.
Yeah. Okay. You were saying, Mariah?
No, I was just gonna try to close it up here because I'm pretty sure it's like 9 a.m. where Psychonaut's at. He's been awake all night long with this
actually, but close enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I just need to wrap it up here. Knight, you're 1-3. Unfortunately, Warlock, you're 0-4. But I mean, this is your first tournament here with Z2R, and it's quite an experience. You've gotten a handful of seeds that have made you work for getting things out of them. But, I hope I'm glad to hear that you did find this one fun in the end. It's frustrating during it, but again, looking at it back, not too big of a deal. And now, as we had talked during the stream, and we talked tonight about it, once you see these things, you get burned by these things, you learn them, and you realize, well, next time I'll just make sure I check, more efficiently, more thoroughly when I'm in that Death Mountain. I'm pretty sure that's where that connector lies then. Yeah.
Yeah, this is actually my first tournament with any randomizer.
Oh,
well, wow, okay.
Oh, wow. So you're really new to the scene.
I mean, I've been playing randomizers for a few years. I just never joined tournaments.
Ah, okay.
I mean, hey, what a seed to go out on, huh?
Yeah.
Well, there's still the NIT to come up for you, if you so wish.
That's right. That's right. The Nibiru Invitational.
Which sounds like it's going to roll right into the Alkiza run.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, maybe the tail end of it.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember if there was overlap last year, and I don't think there was, but I also think all keys started a little late last year.
Okay.
But hey, at least, you'll have plenty of opportunity to get more experience, so,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
Max
it's been
Rando, winter 2023.
Yeah, you never know. Max Rando, probably to a much worse extent than it happened here. All right, I need to start closing things up. Does anyone have any final comments they want to make before we get out of here?
GG's to the runners. Thank you to the team. This has been super fun.
Ditto.
Yeah, what Ryle said. Alrighty, well, GG's to both Nightshifter and to Warlock for surviving whatever the hell that was. Chat, if you're not following them already, make sure you go follow them. They both put up a valiant effort there. And if you want an example of randoing, it's right there in front of you. Feel free to share the VOD with your friends about it. Thank you to both Mariah and to Royale for the excellent commentary, and to Homewrecker for tracking. And make sure you go follow all of them as well. All the links are in chat there. We have a jam-packed schedule happening over the next few days here on Zelda Speedruns, including tomorrow, starting at about 4 o'clock. No, beg your pardon. Starting at about 12 o'clock Eastern, we have the Wind Waker Randomizer Season 5 Tournament Winners Bracket Quarterfinals, both Game 1 and Game 2, happening between Tanjo 3 and Gymnast 86, happening on Zelda Speedruns 1. Later on that day, at about 2 o'clock Eastern, we have the Skyward Sword Randomizer Season 2 Tournament between Muzu and Lipilog. That's Swiss Round 2, I believe, happening. And if you're looking for more Zelda 2 randomizer action, at about 9 o'clock Eastern on Zelda Speedruns 1, we have the other matchup happening between Ghost Dunk and Homewrecker. Where have I heard that name before? So that's going to be an exciting match to check out. Make sure you go check them all out. It'll all be on the schedule. And hey, if you're new around here, be sure to drop us a follow as well. It really helps us all out and helps you keep up to date for when we go live. For the moment, though, we're just going to sign off. We're going to send everyone on their merry way. Feel free to go and hang out with your friends or check out another streamer. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Psychonaut, and have a fantastic rest of your time zone. Bye bye now.